Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charmaine if you're new here. If you're not new here, hey girl, hey, welcome in. Today we're going to be doing a girl sit down chit chat video and I'm so excited about this. I have not done one of these in so long. Y'all know I love to just sit here and talk, okay? Even though I'm like technically sitting in a room talking to myself, I really am talking to 5,000 people behind the screen and I love that. All the questions that I'm reading today are from my Instagram. If you're not following me on there already, here is my @name. My name is the same on all my platforms, so if you guys are looking for me on Instagram or TikTok, I do not have a Twitter, so I'm not on there, period. Okay. I'm gonna just start reading the questions. I'm gonna put them on the screen as well so you can read along with me. First thing that we're gonna talk about in our chit chat is how lust consumed our generation. Hold up, she started off strong. She actually gave me 4 different topics or questions to talk about. In general, we know that God is the God of love, right? Let's read some scriptures about that. God is love. Scripture. 1 John 4:8. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. On the other side, we have the loser, who literally copies and tries to do everything that God does, but from a carnal, sexual, worldly point of view. So think about it. If our God is a God of love, all the deepness of what love is, of course, the enemy and what he's going to do, especially in a generation like ours that is consumed with social media, consumed with what we see, the energy and the attitudes of the kids today and people my age even, everything has to be sexualized. Especially people who are in the world, you'll notice every single thing is sexualized. Every birthday picture has to be you in lingerie. Every holiday picture, it could be Easter and the girls are going to be a naked Easter bunny. Like, I don't speak about these things talking down on anybody, but the reason why we are in such a lustful generation is because that is a plan of the enemy that he wants to do for our generation. It's sad, but as women and men of God, we need to, one, take heed to this, realize it when we see it, step out of it, like not always try to be so sexualized, lustful, and yeah, that's the best way I can think about it. Also, just in terms of our generation, social media obviously is like a huge thing, right? Whether people want to admit it or not, Instagram is like the #1 dating app in our generation. Like, people slide in DMs over there, we're liking pictures. Men back in the day did not have all those options. And I'm not saying men back in the day did not cheat, okay? We know for a fact Tyrone from the 70s had a wife and some kids that his actual wife and kids didn't know about. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, back in the day, men did not have as many options. And back in the day, once you saw a beautiful woman walking down the street, that could potentially be the only time you ever see this beautiful woman, okay? The pretty girl in high school who is still pretty throughout her 20s and 30s may be the only pretty woman in your town. Whereas nowadays, a man can see a pretty woman in his face, but also go on his phone and see a pretty woman in India, or a pretty woman in Dubai, or a pretty woman in Atlanta, or a pretty woman in LA or New York. Especially for men, the enemy gives them this feeling of, I have options, right? God could place this man's wife in front of him. If he is looking through like a lustful and a carnal state of mind, he's going to forever feel as if he has options. And that is not the truth. I have always been a believer in, you know, I will never miss a good thing, right? I will never miss what God has for me. But my pastor has consistently, through scriptures and scriptures and scriptures, you most definitely can miss something that God has for you. The people of Israel did, right? A whole generation of people went 40 years and God literally said to their face, you will never make it, but your children will make it to this land. They missed what God had for them. Not only is lust just like something that's like overly sexualized and what we're looking at, but it's also a device from the enemy to stop you from getting what is yours. I'm not just talking about men, because women lust over things too. I've lusted over things, and it's not just lusting over the opposite gender. You can lust over someone's life, you can lust over what they have, you can lust over someone's physical being, materialistic things, right? So the best thing I can say is social media ruined us. I'm gonna speak to the girls, and I'm gonna be y'all big sister, okay, or little sister who has sense if you're older than me. A lot of women are like, why don't men make these songs? Why are men not yearning like they used to? Why are men not begging like they used to? Because they don't have to. I'm pro woman. I love women, but loving women is also telling women when they're dead wrong. Being a good friend is not just saying, hey, I love everything you do. Being a good friend is also letting you know, like, that's wrong. Men don't yearn and pursue women the way that they used to, not only because they feel like they have a bunch of options, but because we as women are putting it on a platter for them. Here you go, sir. And they don't have to do anything for it. If we want to get men back yearning and wanting women, we as women also need to know our role. To not, like, you do not need to be naked for Easter. I promise you, you do not need a naked birthday photo shoot. And you do not need a naked everyday photo shoot. I'm so sorry, you don't need it. And I bet you the men will come back with some respect. Once we start respecting ourselves, everything will go back. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. What do you love the most about your life right now? What I love the most about my life right now is just this sense of confidence and growth that is coming within me recently. Like, I've just been feeling really like optimistic. You can ask my boyfriend. I've been the most pessimistic person my entire life. I often think the worst, but recently I've been really just loving this sense of God hasn't shown me how good it can get yet, and I will always pray, God, just show me how good it can get, and it's only going to get better. I don't know in what sense, I don't know in what area of my life, but I'm gaining more confidence in the fact that it's going to get better. I am 23. I am a ripe individual. Like, there's so much of my life that's ahead of me. I'm just loving that I'm not in this like weird, depressed, sad, angry state that I was in for years. I'm really loving that about my life right now. I just feel like I'm like seeing things through rose-colored glasses. Okay, I got a couple questions that I feel like are sort of similar. So one of them is dating and tapping into your femininity as you get older. Another one is relationship with God and dating. Tapping into your femininity and being a feminine woman. Oftentimes people say it's something that's like an innate thing that you have, whereas some women just don't have that. I've heard that argument, like some women just aren't nurturing. But I am a firm believer that if you are putting a woman in a place where she feels safe to be that, she will be. A lot of times women are reciprocators, and I'm even learning as a woman of God to not reciprocate, but to just stay at that level and not have to meet someone where they're trying to meet me. You're more than likely going to be soft and or submissive to a man who gives you the platform to do that. And if this person is not giving you the platform to do that, sometimes they just might get like Mike Tyson. Like, I don't know, sometimes it just might get a little rough. Getting into my relationship with my partner, it's been very, I know he's gonna watch this and he's like probably leaning forward like, yeah, it's been very what? It's been very interesting, okay? Because this is the first time in my life, and it's gonna sound insane, but this is the first relationship in my life where I had to sit and listen to what the other person was saying and respect and hear their side. In the past, when you're dating liars and cheaters, when you hear a man speak, your automatic thought is just like, you're lying. It's a defense, and it's an automatic wall that's put up in a sense of like protection that I feel like I had to feel. Whereas with my partner now, if we have a misunderstanding or a disagreement and he's like, hey, like, let me just tell you my perspective. In the past, I would be like, I don't care to hear the lies. I don't care to hear it. And also like just being in this like ultra feminist society, which there's nothing wrong with being pro woman. I love women. I'm a girl's girl through and through. But for me growing up, especially like my high school age, just became like ultra feminist where it was like men are bad, women are good. That type of mindset is not biblical. Women, we need to stand firm, especially women of God. Like, and you want a husband at the end of the day, you have to stand firm in knowing that like men do matter. Men really do matter. Like, God made Adam and then God made Eve, and our society is going to push this rhetoric of like I don't need a man. I can get it on my own. I'm independent. I don't need a man. As a woman of God, please know that you don't need the men that they're talking about. There's a difference. When God gives you your man of God, you're gonna need him just as much as he's gonna need you, because it's reciprocal. We need each other. That was very new for me. Tapping into my femininity, I still think it's something that I'm learning to do. Like, I'm still learning how to listen, and I'm still learning how to not like necessarily cut somebody off in the middle of an argument and say my side and feel like I have to speak, I have to say what I have to say, or get really angry. Tapping into your femininity, at the end of the day, you need to read that book right there, that blue book right there, the Bible. Yeah, tap into that. I'm in the middle of editing, and I just wanted to add, your femininity should come from you being authentically yourself, not cosplaying some girl on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, who is showing you what she thinks femininity is. It's going to be you at the highest level of yourself, and that comes from being authentically you. Don't be cosplaying these girls and going on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, looking up how to be feminine, and these girls are giving you list by list of things that are worldly. Read your word, ask God how to be authentically yourself, and trust you will be the most feminine, beautiful version of yourself. Because the Bible does say, be slow to speak, quick to listen, slow to get angry. Those are all things that are biblical principles that have nothing to do with technically femininity. It's not just reading Proverbs 31. It's also reading Proverbs, period. The lessons and the tips that God gives, that I think helps you tap into your femininity. Like, reading the Bible. Another thing for me that I think was really helpful in my walk with God is realizing that God didn't make us all the same. Every woman is different. Some women are more exuberant, some women are more extroverted, and then there's some women who are more introverted. They're more quiet and shy. But that shy, quiet woman does not mean that she is more of a Christian, more of a astounding woman of God than the more extroverted woman. The difference is the spirit, right? God says the woman has a calm, I'm not gonna ruin the Bible, hold up. Quiet spirit verse. 1 Peter 3:4 says, let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious. This verse means that a person's beauty should come from their inner self rather than their outward appearance. The word gentle in the original language is meek. A meek, gentle, or quiet spirit is an internal attitude that gives a person an imperishable beauty. This beauty is a quality that does not fade away. Having a quiet spirit can help people bring peace and stability to their homes and communities. Say that people with a quiet spirit are less likely to contribute to conflict and turmoil. This is an internal attitude. This is an inner self. So it's not that I'm just here like, no, it's in the midst of conflict. It's in the midst of even things going well, knowing that as a woman, my adorning should be in my inner self. It should be in being meek and humble. Tapping into your feminine energy and whatever they say is something that will come the more that you follow biblical principle. There's definitely other verses in the Bible that speak on femininity, being a true woman of God. Even in Proverbs as well, it's Proverbs 7, it says, beware of the adulterous woman. Even in Proverbs 21:9, it is better to live in the corner of the housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. All these things are talking about femininity. And then in dating, in my relationship with God, I do have a full video on dating. I'm gonna add it right here or somewhere on the screen. All I can say in this video is, women especially, hear me, choose well. Any woman that is pregnant now or had a baby with a man who is not the best will tell you to choose well. Coming from a mother who was a single mother until I think I was 14 or 15, she put it through me and my siblings' heads to choose well. I have no choice for the livelihood of my children, my children's children, my children's children's children, to choose well. Who you choose in terms of your future partner will dictate the trajectory of your life going forward, and that's just facts. There was a trend on TikTok, women showing like their spark being lost after they had kids. I will bet you $100 right now that every single one of those videos where they completely looked dragged through the mud, more than likely did not have a partner that was there, that was committed, that was loving on them throughout the pregnancy, and even after was loving on that baby well. I am extremely picky when it comes to dating because I date to marry. I don't date for fun and let's just see where this goes, let's just enjoy our time. No, that is a worldly thought process that if you're a woman of God, you need to get out of. Yes, not every man is going to be your husband, but you should be dating to marry. You should not be dating just to feel him out and feel the, hey. No, you need to be dating to marry. What is our biblical stance? Are we dating to have sex? No, we're dating to marry. Another thing I'll say with dating is have your non-negotiables from the beginning. Does this person know that you like to pray? Does this person know that you take reading your word daily seriously? Be very clear about this. I love to say ask my boyfriend, but you can really ask anyone. I run a tight ship. Like, it's Judge Judy, electric chair, boom, explosion. Not only because of past trauma and past relationships. Honestly, men have let me down so much in my life. When you are walking in this form of a woman of God, you have to release all those things. You are a new creation in Christ. You have a whole new bloodline. You are a whole new person. So for me, it's like releasing that fear of like, this man is gonna let me down again, like every man does, and just allowing him to still be human and make mistakes, but run a tight ship. I have non-negotiables and he knows this. There's some things where you don't get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chances with, because from the beginning of my relationship, I let you know what it was. This is exactly how it's gonna happen, and if it doesn't happen that way, sayonara. It's just how it has to be, especially as women. We are too precious and valuable to allow men to just walk in, walk out, do whatever they want, go 2, 3 days without speaking to you, go weeks without speaking to you, not being intentional, being rude and mean, yelling at you, raising their voice, whatever it may be. Have non-negotiables and stand on it. Because one thing about a man, he's gonna stand on his non-negotiables. One thing I give men, I don't give men a lot. I don't, and I'm working on it. But one thing a man does very well is they have non-negotiables and they choose themselves every time. A theoretical imaginary couple, if he got a job across the country, it's paying him $100,000 more, he's going to up and leave the city that you're in, without a doubt, okay? He'll ask you to even move with him because he has that job opportunity. Let's reverse genders. If you have an opportunity to work that job, to do that thing, and move across country, would he move for you? No. He wouldn't, unless he was a stay-at-home boyfriend and he had a remote job and whatever it may have been. We're talking boyfriend and girlfriend here, not wife and husband, by the way. A man more than likely is not going to uplift his entire life for you. How many girls do you know that uplift their entire life for a man? Because I know a lot. And a man that has not provided a sense of stability, security, and an outlandish statement of our love. Yeah, a lot of women do that. So not only have your non-negotiables, but we are not doing wifely things in the beginning of our relationship. There is no ring on that finger. You should not be moving to no state, no city, no nothing for that man. I'm sorry, you shouldn't. Once you have that ring and you have that sense of security, stability, this outlandish, outworldly screaming of our love, we could talk about it. Yeah, we can talk about it. But until then, why are you moving? We're a lot into faith and relationships. So let's get into some of the more lighthearted questions. How often do you clean your makeup brushes? I try to clean them probably every 2 weeks. Sometimes I go a month. It's not the best. And I'm talking about my personal makeup brushes. I don't do my makeup as often. I do clean my clients' brushes every single day, and that's why I have to always restock and rebuild, because if I'm buying cheap brushes, they start to flake and fall off. But I clean my clients' brushes every day. How was it growing your makeup business, and what were the obstacles faced? This is a great question. Growing my makeup business, definitely the beginning I'll say was hard, but anything that God will lead you to, while it may not be easy, it's going to have a flow to it. There's gonna have favor behind it, and I wholeheartedly believe that God led me to this career that I'm in right now. I'll give you guys a quick testimony of just my makeup business and how I started. I started doing makeup when I was about 13 and 14. I did my first face on somebody when I was 14 years old, and I just used to go to school with my makeup done. I always had my eyebrows on, concealer, blush. Got to the point where people started asking me to do their makeup for events like homecoming, military ball was a thing, and for prom. I was a freshman in high school doing faces for real. I was just playing in people's faces at this point. I didn't know what I was doing. I would have them bring their own makeup to me and I would just put it on them, and it was something that was really fun. Now, once I got to college, I did take it more serious. I started my Instagram page and I gained like 100 followers in the first day, and I thought I was so cool. I was so excited. And then COVID happened. So I got into college in 2019, graduated June like 1st or 2nd, and class started June 20 something. So I had 2 weeks pretty much to pack up my entire life and move to Tallahassee after I graduated high school. And it wasn't until that winter break, that December of 2019, when I made my initial makeup page. And 2020 spring happened and we all got sent home. They kicked everyone out their dorms, and I ended up being home until 2021 August. So I was home for over a year just doing makeup. I ended up taking 2 semesters off. I came into school with a bunch of credits, so I was ahead, and I was able to not only take 2 semesters off but also graduate early. Definitely a blessing that I was a scholar in high school, because it helped me to do what I was doing, which was makeup. I was working in Broward for about a year and some change, growing my business. This is when me and Kati, my best friend, she does hair, we started around the same time. We got a shop in Pompano and I was working in there for a while. We ended up getting scammed ended up getting out of the shop, and I was also working in the restaurant business at the time. So I was a hostess from 16 until 21. I loved hosting. I was a great hostess. I wanted to get into serving, and I felt like there was great money into that, but God had other plans. August 2021, when I moved up to Tallahassee, first thing I did was get a restaurant job. I'm living off campus. I'm no longer dorming. I need to provide for myself. I got my first hosting job in Tallahassee, and it was at Charlie Park, which is like a rooftop bar restaurant thing that they have here. While I was still working, I would randomly be getting random girls, hey, I need my makeup done right now, I'll pay whatever, I'll pay $50, $60. I'm like, hold up, I'm getting paid $8, $9 an hour right now. So I ended up calling off of work so much. Almost every week I was asking someone to take my shift. I was calling off, and I was making more money doing that. My rent at the time, I think, was like $550 something, the most I've ever paid for anything in my life. If you know college rent, obviously it's cheap if you're an adult hearing this, but as a 19-year-old kid, like, that was a lot of money every month. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing makeup. I prayed about it, and God finally was like, quit the job, like, we're going full-time with it. This was 2021 December. Once I came back up that January of 2022, I was a full-time makeup artist. I trusted God. I was like, I heard him, all these things. That first month, I had not one client. Had nobody coming in. It was really disheartening because I was working at like a salon space at the time, and every time I'd walk in, you know, Kati had her clients, there was a nail girl, a braider, an eyelash girl, and every time I walk in, there were so many people that were coming in, and I just wasn't getting consistent clientele. I was crying. I'm like, God, why would you allow me to quit my job? I hate that you made me do. I was so angry at God, because I was like, I won't be able to pay my rent. At the end of the month, right before rent was due, literally FSU dropped their last ever final COVID check into my account. Well over, it was like $1,500. It was over what my rent was. And I just was like, like, God just wanted to see if I had faith, if I could actually branch out of comfort, which was that 2-week check of like $200. I was getting paid nothing, and I trusted God, and he did it. February, and I think around March also, I wrote in my journal, I wrote, my rent will be paid every single month. And I also wrote how many clients I needed per week. I need about 5 clients per week. I did like the math and everything, at least 5 clients per week every month. So that first month afterwards, I had 12 girls, and it just started multiplying and multiplying to 12 girls a month to maybe 12 girls a week. And I remember one month I had like 45 girls in that week, and I lost my mind. I was like, God, what are you doing? This is insane. That was the month that I had my first $10,000 month. All in all is that I trusted God. I allowed him to lead. Every month to this day, I don't worry. If I open my calendar and nobody books on that first day, by the end of the month, I'm still gonna have my rent. I don't know how, I don't know where the money's coming, but I have an innate faith that God is going to provide for me. With that has come provision every single month. If my car breaks down, if clients don't book, I'm gonna get a random check for $1,000. This has happened before. One month I kept losing money, no clients. I finally got a check from my college apartment randomly. It was $1,000 flat right in my hand. I now am seeing about 70 to 80 women every single month. Insanity. Insanity. We're not crying. But it's just such a testament of, if God calls you to do something and you listen and you have faith in it, He's going to provide favor and overflow, without a doubt. And there's so many great makeup artists up here, and I've never been in competition. I've never spoke ill about not one makeup artist here. And that also shows a difference, I think, in my work ethic even. I don't treat my clients bad. I don't randomly cancel on them. I'm on time for our appointments. There's times where I'm running behind, but I'm not like 45 to an hour late. I communicate with people. I'm a stand-up citizen, okay, when it comes to this, because I treat people how I want to be treated, and that's a biblical principle. I don't play when it comes to my career and what I've chosen to do. I still have dreams and aspirations. I went to school for medicine. I still want to do that. But in this season and where God has left me right now, this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing it well. I'm doing it without complaining, and I'm still working towards my other goals, but I have kept God and my eyes on Jesus and what He's doing. So if you want to be a makeup artist, a service provider, whether that's hair, nails, lashes, follow biblical principles. Don't do people dirty. Don't cancel on the day of their appointment. If you just have good energy, you are peaceful, you listen, girl, I'm a full-blown therapist at this point. The way these girls come to me with their problems, but they know that I'm there to listen, and I give advice, and I'm there for them. Yes, that was my journey to being a makeup artist. God definitely did His big one. It's a gift that I've had since I was a kid, and I will never ever 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 stop saying how much of a blessing it has been for me to do this. Okay, testimony was great. Someone said, some things that you struggle with as a believer. I love being upfront and honest. I've always been an honest person. I think this year I've also learned to reel it in. I used to be crazy on my Twitter and just like share way too much information, but I definitely think the quick to anger thing has been something that I've been struggling with. Being slow to speak, slow to get angry. I've been irritated. Something in my spirit, I don't know how to explain it, but I've just been so irritated. Easily irritated at that, and it makes me aggravated because I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. There's been a lot of moments this year specifically that God revealed that this was a growing pain for me, and this was something that I really needed work on, especially within my relationship. I just feel like I was so quick to just snap, and like this little girl inside me who just really wants to defend herself. Sometimes something will happen and I'm reacting as if it was something from the past, really giving that full-blown defense that I feel like I deserve, but it's not always necessary. When you come to Christ and you know that God is your biggest defender at the end of the day, it really does help you to be that calm and gentle, peaceful spirit. I can firmly say I'm not there yet. We're working on it. And I'm a kind person, I'm nice, but sometimes it's just like a quick like oh, and don't let me be on my time of the month. Don't let it happen. Having an attitude and being mean, like, that's not cute. Not cute at all. Oh, I love this one. Healthy friendships with girls. It's sad because it's been really hard for me to make authentic, genuine, and solid friendships.
State of love, bonding, trust, real friendship.
Here physically in Tallahassee, post-grad, I already have like a group of women. It's like my 5 a.m. prayer girls that I feel like these are my sisters. I can talk, cry, they're gonna pray for me, but they are not here physically with me. I've been really like just looking for community and healthy friendships, and I also have a lot of friendship trauma, which doesn't help. I was always like the sidekick friend, if that makes sense. Like I never was really able to just shine my light and be myself. I feel like I've always been like up under somebody. Healthy friendships with girls entails for me being able to call your friend out when they're doing BS and say, hey, I don't agree with that. You know better. You know you're dead wrong. Like, apologize, or I love to be that friend. Like, I am not a yes man, I'm not a kiss butt. Also, good and healthy friendships are friends who celebrate you and who are not afraid to celebrate you and celebrate you loudly. If you know your friend is trying to do XYZ, celebrate them. It could be a text or flowers. Like, I think healthy friendships are friends who are not afraid of their friend to elevate, not afraid of their friend to do something totally different or even do something in the same lane. Like, me and Kati both make TikToks. I don't argue with her. I'm not mad at her if her video goes viral or mine doesn't, or vice versa. She comments on my stuff and I comment on her stuff. There's no reason that it should be a competition. That's also a sign of a healthy friendship. If you find yourself in a friendship with somebody and everything you do, they have to do it too or do it better. I know for a fact a true and honest friend that loves and cares about you wants to see you succeed. They aren't intimidated by your light and your confidence. What did Kendrick Lamar say? I can't fake humble just because your butt is insecure. People cannot dim their light around me to make me feel comfortable. That means I'm in the wrong room. I should not have to dim my light around you to make you feel comfortable. You are not my person. But if I'm around the wrong group of women, they are gonna talk down, maybe even talk about me, or try to instill fear in me and my plans. Another sign of a healthy friendship is friends who pursue Christ. People who will choose Jesus over you, that's a good friend. Who will put scripture before your feelings, that's a good friend. You need people around you who want to pray with you, who want to do Bible study, who want to go to the park and just talk about the goodness of God. It's hard to be in a healthy friendship if you guys are not aligned. And unequally yoked is not just talking about relationships, it's also talking about friendships. One girl's gonna want you to go out to the club, go out and take shots with her, and you're gonna want to be home, or you're gonna feel convicted, or you're gonna feel peer pressured, right, into doing the things that you told yourself you no longer want to do now that you're walking with Christ, right? Especially a healthy Christian friendship is one that's equally yoked. I don't want to hang around girls who want to live a worldly lifestyle, because you cannot have both. I don't have a problem celebrating a friend for their birthday, going to dinner, whatever it may be, but if this is your lifestyle, I cannot do both. Another thing I feel like is when you come to Christ and your old friends maybe haven't really came to Christ, that's really hard, because now you have to cut off friends that you have history with. And that's hard because most people hang on to that. Like, you want to say, I've known this girl since kindergarten and we never switched up on each other and yada yada yada. For all you know, this is just a season where you guys need to be separated and then you guys will be back. Or maybe y'all just never become friends again. You really don't know. I think that friendship dynamic is a little bit harder because they know a you that's no longer there. If you're around the wrong people, they're going to continuously hold on to that old version of you. And this new version of you is so foreign and confusing to them that they no longer like feel comfortable. And that's where the talking behind your back comes, and the mean, and just like the leaving you out of the group chat and leaving you out of the plans comes. But that's where you have to run to Christ and know that God has people for you. I lost a lot of my friends, not only mistakes that I've made to mistakes that they've made. Me coming to Christ revealed so many people in my life that were not supposed to be there. I don't think I made the best decisions when making friends. A lot of the friends that I made was due to fear and due to like lack of community, and I just wanted community so bad that I would just be friends with people that honestly we didn't even have anything in common. I would purposefully make it work because I was like, I need people, I love people, I don't want to be alone. It ended terribly for me, terribly. So I'm definitely a lot more picky when it comes to people that are in my life. Being healthy in a friendship, obviously God's word, but also people who are willing and able to grow with you. If people still want to be in Broward talking about the same things from high school and y'all about 27, 26, wrap it up. Like, you don't need to be friends with people just to say you've been friends for that long. What is that person providing for you in your life? And I'm not saying every relationship needs to be give and take, but what am I gaining with this friendship? Don't be afraid to lose friends. Don't be afraid to choose Jesus over everybody. You can ask anyone. I've lived like 7 lives. I restart my life over every 2 years. And that's because I'm not afraid to leave people. I'm not afraid to start over, meet a new group of people. I love this quote, and it says, I have not met all the people who will love me in my lifetime. I haven't met everybody yet. There's a sisterhood and there's people even here in Tallahassee that are waiting to meet me. And let's say I never meet my people in Tallahassee. That's just a reminder that this is not my forever home. I don't want to be here. They're in the city that God has for me. They're in the city that I'm going to raise my kids, that I'm going to get married, and whatever it may be. So if you haven't found your people, or if you're in a place where you have people but they're not growing with you, talk to God. Pray that prayer. That prayer is not just for men. God, remove everyone in my life that's not supposed to be here. When I tell you, people will just start dropping like flies. I remember I prayed that prayer for my boyfriend and I lost 2 friends. I was like, God, that prayer was for him. And he's like, nah, it was for them. Don't be afraid to pray that prayer. And I pray for healthy, beautiful friendships for all of you guys. Friends who love and cherish you, that make you feel seen and understood. Friends that don't make you feel like there's tension all the time, or beef, or that they're talking about you behind your back. I pray for friends that make you feel comfortable, that will pray over you, who will be there if you are depressed, who will lift you up if you are sad. You deserve sisterhood like that, and I pray that over all of you and myself, of course. Fave products and fave makeup hacks. These are products that I grab every single day. First off, my Juvia's Place Duos. This is volume 2. Really pretty pink. I love it. I'm wearing it today. I think it just gives me a very natural but baby pink type of look. And this is their Duo in Tan. The contour shade at the bottom, and this is the bronzer at the top. For the price, it's only $20 and you get 2 products in one. Y'all know makeup is expensive. Not only is the pigment there, but the price is there. This is a new favorite. This is in Copper Etiquette. This is by e.l.f. I really like this too. I thought this would be more of like an orangey copper tone, but it's a beautiful pink shade. I'm wearing this as well, and I just think it complements my skin very nicely. These are my 2 favorite mascaras. I got this from Milk. They sent this to me in PR, and this is their Kush High Roll Mascara. Everyday, tried and true, $4.99. Essence Lash Princess. You can't go wrong with these 2. I think these both are really good. If you're looking for something affordable, the green Essence Lash Princess. Today with my mascara, I use the Milk one. For base, these are my favorites. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow. I'm in shade 5. This is medium tan. I love this for every day. Like if I'm doing something very minimal, I love this, especially for church. This is definitely a go-to. This is the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Blur Skin Tint Stick. It's so easy to put on and apply, and the color is spot on to what my natural shade is. Especially for my everyday looks, I love this. This is a bit newer. This is the e.l.f. Laminating Gel, but I just started actually gelling my brows, which I never used to do, and I feel so late to the party, but this has been so amazing. I really do love this, and I have nothing wrong to say about it, but for it to be a newer product of mine, it's been grabbed every single day. The last thing, y'all, I've been using this for years. This is the One Size Turn Up the Base Foundation Powder in Medium Dark 1. I already hit pan, but this is just one of my favorite powders outside of the Sephora Micro Smooth. Micro Smooth changed their entire color line, and that sort of ruined it for me, so I don't speak about them as much, but tried and true, One Size. Definitely try them and let me know how you guys like them. Navigating being a woman of faith in today's society. I love this question because obviously, yes, the road is narrow. You're in the world or you're out of the world. But what I am saying is there is not one depiction of the perfect Christian, especially as a woman of faith. It's easy with social media to follow Christian influencers or people who are posting about their faith and feel like I have to do exactly what Amy Moore is doing or this girl is doing. That, I feel like, limits you. That's when it becomes idolization. That also causes you to no longer walk in your authentic self. I saw it on my TikTok. She said, if you're not operating as your authentic self, you cannot access the things that God has destined for you. Period. 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 God cannot bless the pretend you. He can't. He won't do it. He's not gonna bless the mask that you're wearing. He's gonna bless the authentic you that deserves that blessing. Even outside of being a woman of faith, right? Everyone on social media looks the same. Same body type, same veneers, same hairstyle. Nobody is authentic, and it's hard to be blessed in that way. You may see the world blessing them. They may have followers because they look like this girl and they're following this trend or doing whatever, but people are still reaching out and screaming and crying for authenticity. They're still crying for creativeness. People who want to go against the grain. We still need that. God is the most creative person in the world, the ultimate creative, right? He would not have made all the beautiful things that we see if he wasn't an artist at heart. He made each one of us so different, each one of us with different personality types, different hair types, different facial structures, but he did that on purpose because we're gonna reach people differently. I reach people through makeup. You may reach people through being a lawyer or being a nurse. You are different for a reason. And I feel like navigating through society today is going to be a fight for your authenticity. One thing I love, and I think I said this before in a video, but I love when like the emo girls come to Christ and still have that like emo type of style, you know what I'm saying? It was like Bungang. He was here trashing churches, tattoos down his entire face and body. Now he gave his life to Christ, and his face and body full of tattoos is a testament to the next person who has a body full of tattoos and believes in the devil or something. God is using us to be different so that we can grab people. If we all look the same, how we gonna get the people, y'all? How we gonna save the people? As women of God and women of faith, we need to stand not only on biblical principles, regardless of what the world is saying, we must also stand on our authenticity. What did God put in you and instill in you that's different than your sister in Christ? Even in the word it says, and he gave us all different gifts. If he gave you a gift of prophecy, to prophesy. A gift of worship, worship well. A gift to pastor, pastor well. He didn't say that we all have the same things. No, he listed off like 5 different gifts that God has given us that is different for each person. There's a reason that that's in the Bible. It's a reminder to be different, to be authentic, and to be yourself. There is a standard of being a Christian woman. Yes, we're not going to be the ones cussing and fornicating. We still may slip up and do those things too because we're human. But we're not going to have to be carbon copies just because this one Christian girl is like, hi, my baby. Don't mean that I gotta talk just like her. God made me with this yappy yappa 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 mouth for a reason, because I'm gonna reach people. I still have a soft and gentle spirit. I just have a little bit of a louder voice. I don't know what to tell you. But please, in today's society, be who you are. I know that song is about like LGBTQ, but I love it. For your bride, don't hide. I love that song. But not for real, be who you are. Talk about how comparison is the thief of joy. Not everyone's 20s look the same. This is a good one. I definitely have struggled with this, and I think a lot of people probably have, especially with social media. I'll speak about myself, of course, because I'm the only one here, but especially because I wanted to go the healthcare route, but I was doing makeup full time. Everyone was already getting their hours, getting shadowing experience and doing all the things, but I was not seeing favor with that. Applying places, and I was not getting callbacks, and I have a great resume. I just was seeing that like, okay, God does not want me to do this right now. And when things start to feel forced and you are pushing against God, it's never gonna turn out well. So I ended up just, all right, in my gap year, we are just going to be doing makeup and finishing off whatever classes that I need to do. If I continue to allow myself to look at other people my age that were getting their master's degrees, or maybe already getting into the schools that I wanted to get into, I feel like I would not be in my waiting period well. So while I'm waiting on God, and I'm sitting and I'm like waiting on God to fulfill the desires of my heart, I also am serving God. I have a whole full-blown ministry while doing makeup, and I do it well. While you may be in a period where you may look at others and feel like, dang, I'm 30, or dang, I'm 26, I'm 25, however old you are, I'm behind in life. Who are you behind? Whose race are you running? Are you running your race? Are you running their race? Everyone's race looks different. And that has really helped me. Is like, I'm quite literally in this lane by myself. This is not a 4x4. I don't gotta pass off no baton to nobody. This is me and my walk and my race. So if I'm running like this, how can I run well if I'm like this? I'm gonna end up tripping, or leaning into their lane or leaning into their lane. You already said it. Talk about how comparison is a thief of joy. You know what it is. The Bible tells us that. Much easier said than done, because how easy is it to get on someone's Instagram page and look at them and just covet everything that they have. Like, there's been so many times I'm on my Explore and I'm like, dang, that girl got it all. That girl's living the life I deserve to live. But if God wanted you to live that life, you know you'd be living it, right? If God wanted that for you right now, you would have had it. You don't think you would have had it by now? Oh, okay. So once I realized that, I was like, okay, God is doing something else in my life, and he's working on me, and he's building me, and there's so many other beautiful things that are happening. And if I continue to look left and look right, I'm never going to be able to be present in the moment and see all the great things that are happening in my life. So learn to be present, learn to thank God, even in your waiting season. God fulfills every desire of my heart and provides stability for me and my future family. I'm going to bless him and I'm going to thank him, because during the season he was building things in me, in my faith walk, in my spiritual life, to be prepared for the next season. Okay, we're down to our last question. It says, talk about your 20s and how 20 shouldn't be how... Hey, hold up.
What would you do if when you're okay, so he said yes would go? I don't know what you mean there, babes.
The last question is, 20 shouldn't be how fast you finish things, but learning and growing at your own pace. And this, I feel like, sort of does go into the comparison as a thief of joy. Say you see somebody who gets a house, but you know that they scammed their way there. They scammed someone for $100,000 and they use that as a down payment on their house. And you're working hard and you have to do X, Y, Z to get there. You are focusing on your lane and allowing God to work and build in you. You have the moral high ground to know, like, you don't have to do that to get to where you need to be, and you have the provider of all providers that can do that for you without you having to get out of your body and get out of your character to do that. I think once you have that mindset, things will flow so much easier and better for you. It's all comparison, right? If I'm sitting here like, I need to do it by this age, I need to do this, and I need to have kids by this age, God forbid, I don't know when my last day on earth will be. I will live long in Jesus' name. You don't know that, right? So if you're here rushing to get somewhere that you may never even reach, and that's sad and scary to say, but that's why God asks us to be present in the moment and sit still in his presence and be with Jesus all the days of our lives. We don't know the time or the hour. God could literally come right now, open up the heavens, trumpets roaring, coming down on the clouds. And I'm sitting here preparing for school, marriage, kids, and that would not be my portion. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you're in a rush to do things, not only ask God to lead, guide, add favor to that thing. If you're not seeing that, hey, do the last thing God told you. If you are constantly watching the next person, and it's hard, I get it. Like, when you see 15-year-olds on TikTok making millions of dollars for doing nothing, like, yes, that's hard. When you see white girls doing absolutely the bare minimum and being rewarded for it, it is hard. But they are going a route, more than likely, that is not the route that God is leading you down. You know the tortoise and the hare story? We know the story. But like, when you go up that fast and you have nothing to stand on, no faith, no diligence, no biblical tips to keep you there, more than likely you're gonna just go down, right? Now let's say God taught me to be a good steward over little before I have much, right? I'm learning to budget now. I'm learning how to treat people well now. I'm learning how to do all these things now. By the time I get up there, I'm not gonna fall down because I am rooted in these principles. I know how to budget. I know how to treat people well. When I have employees and things, I'm not gonna treat them like a Cruella, girl. I'm not gonna treat them mean because I'm founded on biblical principle. So if we're sitting here comparing our lives to the next person, you really don't know these people. That's another thing. You don't know these people. That's why when people be like, oh, but I want to be like Ari, or I want to be like Jada, or I want to be like India, or I want to, and y'all name all these like high-end social media standing people. I don't know what they go through. Ari just said that she's okay with her man cheating on her because that's what men do. She also says that she doesn't believe in marriage and that they're married in the sight of God. Someone who does not follow biblical principles. So when you're sitting here comparing your life to these people, you don't know if these girls are getting beaten, whooped, dragged up and down that house behind the scenes, but they know how to dress and they have cute hair and they know how to do their own makeup. You don't know nothing. If you feel like you're in a rush to get somewhere, especially based on comparison or just based on a rush that you are giving yourself, girl, Free yourself from that. What book is that? Is it Ecclesiastes, where nothing matters? Yes, it is Ecclesiastes. Look at me knowing my Bible. Thank you. Ecclesiastes. Everything is meaningless. The only thing you should be in a rush for is to that word. The only thing you should be in a rush for is to see Jesus. An advocate for education. Especially as Black people, I'm an advocate for us doing better with our lives. And honestly, education more than likely is the way that I push people to go. But don't rush yourself to get there if that is not where God is leading you right now. Point blank, period. Well, that was all the questions that I had for the video. Thank you so much for everyone that took the time to ask me a question. And if you're not following me on Instagram already, make sure that you do so that you and your question can be a part of the next video. I'm seeing a growth in my following in terms of women of God and people of faith, and I love it. I've lost so many followers, but the ones that I am gaining are fellow people, fellow women who are, I think, on the same walk as me. So I love that. I pray that my answers helped somebody and led you to read the word. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more from me, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.